For breaking news, go to iDiskiTimes.co.za. iDiskiTV powered by World Sports Betting. iDiskiTimes.co.za. South Africa versus Congo Kinshasa. Once again, South Africa was 3-3 against Congo Kinshasa. It was Lupopo 3, Orlando Pirates 3. Now the aggregate is bigger because, of course, Mamelodi Sundowns have beaten St. Olio Lupopo. We thought that they would lose, and they did lose. But, of course, there are interesting talking points from that game. Lindo Pep, what do you think of the game, sir?
Yeah, Mr. Nkeo, I think the technical team, Mr. Nkeo, credit to Miguel Cardoso, credit to the Mamelodi Sundowns boys. Number one, before I break the second half the second and the first half, is I need to mention this. Mamelodi Sundowns today scored goals of high quality, in my opinion. The first goal is a system goal where
that was a brilliant goal.
What a pass, Mr. Nkeo. It's those calculative passes that the system, they call them system solutions. So you can tell Umdao does the very same thing over and over again. He hugs the touchline. Instead of bringing in a cross, he doesn't. He recycles the ball. And then Marcelo Allende or Ricina becomes an option, which is a system. It's something that they train. It's a training ground goal. He brings in a pinpoint cross ball. What a wonderful finish. The second goal, Marcelo Allende, is a goal of high quality. Because Maucheka, from the combination play, how they break into midfield, which is what we are crying for in the first half, to say, can we have a passing precision a little bit quicker? Can you move the ball a little bit quicker? Sure. If not that, can we have one player who has the courage to dribble to eliminate one player and then find those combination plays in the final third? And they do exactly that with Ununo combination play. Marcelo Allende in the box, he makes the right decisions, he finishes. I think Manglelila was saying, Allende, you know, he was very composed. The third goal, Nuno as well, Mangatia check at the intricate passes, how we break it defense, we moved it a little bit quicker, combination play, we went behind the defense, we brought in a cross. Matthews, Junior Uzumka, credit to say this is what we need from a winger. We're at Vala and we are Vala in that instance. He pings in a pinpoint cross. But maybe let's talk about the first half, because the first half is maybe something that fascinates me, because there's a lot of talking points. There's a lot of talking points in the first half, because in the first half, in my opinion, it looked very robotic. It looked very robotic and predictable. And why? It's because you're playing with three similar players. The players are players of high quality in terms of passing, in terms of delivery. They can find a direct pass. Umbonilu Risinho, they can combine if they need to. They are passing specialists. Marcelo Allende, we are talking about Tununu, we are talking about Rashina. But now the game wants a second idea. What is the second idea at Mamelodi Sundowns? Because the goal that Lupopo scores comes from the initial idea of we want to play with advanced fullbacks, but which is a big conversation for me in football, which is what are the benefits of playing fullbacks? Which is, for me, there's people can come with stats, people can come with facts to say we've seen a PSG. Because now this makes the argument, it dilute oros to say we've seen a PSG about scoring 5 goals, about the players, about Hakimi, about Nuno. But now, what does it benefit us having Umdao high and in advanced area? Yes, we do operate. There's this ball letter in the box where Ununo should score, where you can say maybe these are the benefits of attacking a fullback. But in Mamelodi Sundowns, this is something Talis Limaza in the past 3 seasons. We were knocked out of the CAF Champions League because of the same advanced fullbacks that want to initiate the attack. Because if we are saying, Mr. Nke, we are initiating an attack on a fullback, now we need to judge a fullback as a winger, which I think it's not fair to judge them based on the outcome, the deliveries that they put in the box entries, the combination play, the extended extra pass, which they are required to do. They need to defend a larger space. Opre has to defend a larger space. That goal, Lupopo comes like that. But for me, Utebza today, it was too easy for me. I don't think, I know he always gives his best, but I don't think it was a game on it was high level in terms of Utebza. Defensively, he helped us. In the second half, in my opinion, that's
stay in the first half a little bit.
Yeah.
What do you want to do as Sundowns with Matthews? So you're playing with Mundiba and you're asking Matthews to come inside. Now, interestingly, in the whole first half, we couldn't see Matthews.
Yeah.
Assuming that Matthews is your wide player on the left-hand side, we expect dribbles, we expect assists, shots at goal, help Reynas receive the ball. And also even the midfielders, who of them do you want to be a number 10 to join and help Ikram Reynas? So let's try and unpack that. Is it not a limitation, Matthews, because you have to create space for Mundiba on your outside, we can't see you 1v1 with defenders. Number 2, we couldn't see him receiving balls in the final third, and so on and so forth. Also, with these midfielders, who do you want from them to be a number 10? Are they doing enough now to help Reynas?
This is my point, Mr. Nkeo. And this is very important. At Mamelodi Sundowns, about Matthews, you can tell, because how you train is how you play. This is a system team. where it's a collective idea that wants to win. The star player is the team. Sharp. Matthews is trained to find system solutions. You can see how he plays. It's very calculated. But now what we need is controlled chaos. You need that one winger that can play both. To control chaos, I mean a player that can be a system player, but also has the intelligence to know or to interpret the game manager. It doesn't need a system solution. It needs an individual brilliance. Now,
in this moment, I don't have
yes,
to tuck inside.
I don't have
I
to.
can stay outside to receive the ball. Because it becomes predictable when the only people about Tolipo, like 11, like 7, are the wing backs, but you also have a Matthews.
Mr. Kewi, do you know what the positive is? The positive is the number 7, Rashin, no Matthews. They play as number 10s that abadala in the shoulders of the midfielders. So what they want is that when they receive the ball, they are already one pass away from goal. Matthews, even when he receives, he's in the shoulder of the midfielder. He doesn't need that combination play. When he receives the ball, he's already behind the midfield. So for me, those are the systems. So now, but this is where the individual brilliance needs to come from Matthews. To say, yes, the system requires you to find the system solution. But where is the individual brilliance? Where is the control chaos? And now this is what happens in the second half, where Marcelo Allende provides exactly that.
Strangely enough, we didn't expect him from midfield to be on the D-line to take a shot. And this is what you want, the creativity, the creative aspect of don't be predictable. When there's a moment, attack the D-line, take shots at goal.
Exactly. That's why in midfield, you need a variation. You need a passer, you need a dribbler, you need a combination play, you need defensive, you need interceptions, you need all of those qualities from each and every single one in the midfield. But the biggest thing for me at Mamelodi Sundowns is exactly that. How do we now have a second idea? And for me, no matter how much of Marcelo Allende is an exceptional football player, and it seems like we are always attacking this guy, and we are not. We have to mention this. He's a brilliant football player. We've got less midfield. It's only a few midfielders that can play or control the game the way he does. You understand, Mr. Kyo? But now there's games where we want control because we want to win the Champions League. That is the mandate. Because if the mandate is not to win the Champions League, then trust Umapen. Can you trust Umapen? Can you trust Ulitlako to come with the control chaos? So you are playing Marcelo Allende because you are looking for experience. You are looking for control. But now there's games you are playing against Lipopo. Everyone, even I, expected Lipopo to play with a low block. But now you need penetrative passes. In the game. Exciting, X-factor, forward passes. Ununo, Rashin, Marcelo Allende. They can't all recycle. One has to have a different element.
This is why I'm asking the question of number 10. Not necessarily even 10. Football is a game of numbers. If you're going to have recyclers from midfielders, on top of that, another midfielder is Debza. You have Nuno Santos, Miguel Raichinho. You have Marcelo Allende. Who is the supporting actor Reynas? Because one of the expectations for Lendona Leselef, Matthews, is that he's a wide forward, also 10. And you can see that they're not supporting sufficiently the striker. This is where you need the support from the midfield. And you saw it in the second half.
Mr. Nkewu, another thing is, if football is a 1v1 and a 2v1 game, forget about the 11v11. If Sipaga take round in, it's a 1v1 and a 2v1 game. When you play with Ikram Reynas, you are expecting, that's why Ikram Reynas was running all those channels. Ikram Reynas pulls the defender a little bit back. Now, where are the spaces of Vulegayo? The spaces that are open as for the two number 10s to come into that area. Because if you have a striker or Sale Boxin, Mr. Nkewu, right? Now, you need those midfielders who play in the shoulder so that was tall striker. Right? But if you are playing with a striker that stretches the game, you are opening that central space. This is the criticism Matthews gave. You've got the space. Occupy those zones. That's why it was important from Murashin. I think he played well, more especially by finding those balls. Where don't exit the half space. Do not exit because that's where the opportunities are, more especially with Ikram stretching the game. That's why we need a dribbler. That's why for me the biggest question should be Miguel Cardoso. Why did you release Utembin Lorch? Why did you release Ukodisang? What is happening? Look at the bench. Who is on the bench? Maupegi bench le Mamelodi Sundowns. There's Umasego, there's Umurena, there's Utsiki. The bench is not. How do you 65 minutes? 1-1. I need a plan B. I need a second idea. I feel like we don't have a second idea at Mamelodi Sundowns. We don't have that option.
You want to pass them to death. You want to pass them to death. And also there's a difference in quality. Lupopo. That's one type of quality. When you play quarterfinals, semifinals, you're going to be asked different questions. Let me wrap up because we've already got the time from Justice. Does this look, and I will ask you so many times this as we progress to the Champions League with Sundowns, does this look like a Champions League winning team? Or what else do you need to make it a Champions League winning team? Because for me, so far, not convincing. Yes, of course, you win the matches you're supposed to win, but not Champions League winning type of football?
I think in the beginning of the season, we made wrong decisions. And over the years, after 8 years, we've done exceptionally well at the club. For me, there's players that were released at the club because we wanted to keep a smaller group. But I don't think that process is working. At Mamelodi Sundowns, currently, we are not convinced about performances. Yes, the team is winning. But for me, you need 2 players. The club is 2 players away from being an elite again football club. Yes, they already are. But to be that team where everyone is feared, you need another Ribeiro. The club was let down by Ribeiro. We have to mention that. The club was relying on Ribeiro, which is the player that we are talking about, the control chaos. Someone who was disrupt the system. Someone who was add another element into that blueprint of the club. So we don't have that. But the mistake you release Ukodi-sang, maybe he was not training well because those things happen in football, but we don't know that. So we can't speak about it. Why did they release him? Because I knew Urulani also felt that the game is becoming too robotic, too positional, too predictable. That's why he initiated in Sama by landing Utembi Nkosi. I think that to Miguel Cardoso, that's his struggle right now. He wants to play the type of football that has a second idea. But now he released those players, which is vice versa. He needed passers, players abakwazi ukuvula abavaleli. But now he needs about Ribeiro, he needs about Lorch, he needs about Kodisang, and he doesn't have that. Mamelodi Sundowns still has an opportunity to do very well in the CAF Champions League. But if they do bring in the players, you need a Tempi Nkosi Lorch into the team. You need a Willem Fukeng type of a player, players that can decide the game from the bench or even when it came in moments of the pitch. So for me, I'm looking at Miguel. I told you, I know maybe I'm taking long, Mr. Nkeo. I feel, part of me feels for Miguel Cardoso. And for me, the system now, even how he plays, Mr. Nkeo, he opts to play with 5 midfielders. Because the obsession of wanting to keep the ball, the system, finding system solutions. So now he's overloading even with another midfielder.
Sometimes even you'll say the
yes, for sure.
The soul. You always talk about the losing of the soul.
Yes.
So that's also coming from the fans as well to say you need to play. But I think maybe play it a little bit quicker.
Play it a little bit quicker. Also, at Mamelodi Sundowns, it's controlled chaos, mentality monster, and maybe the second idea is a conversation that needs to be had in the boardroom, the technical team, and the players.
There you go. Thank you so much. We'll be back with Lindo Pep and Bobo Monday. Also, of course, tomorrow we'll be with Kaizer Chiefs and Al Masri in Egypt at 6 p.m. iDiskiTV, iDiski Times, also sporting.
Shapunjan Bafuyetui Kamalamu Lindo Pep, the best analyst in the country. Please don't forget to subscribe to iDiskiTV. Tanko.
This is Bongane Benedict Villagazi, they call me so. Niazi Bafuyetui, I'm a coach for life. They are back in winning ways. Please, subscribe to iDiskiTV.